Breaking news, everybody. Here's the latest news that I want you to know about the fourth stimulus check. So millions of Americans will be positively affected by Biden's new budget plan. Lawmakers in Congress are now fighting to make monthly relief payments permanent for Americans. Everybody, what do you think about Congress so far? Are they doing all that it takes to send out the fourth stimulus check? Tell me in the comments below.
More Americans. Thanks to the economic plan we put through in Congress earlier this year and a successful vaccine deployment, America continues to add jobs at a record pace. In its historically strong recovery, unemployment rate has fallen again today, down to 4.6%. This included a substantial drop in unemployment for Hispanics, which was much needed. Our economy is on the move. This morning, we learned that in October, our economy created 531,000 jobs, well above expectations. We also learned that job growth over the prior 2 months, August and September, was nearly 250,000 more jobs than previously thought. In total, the job creation in the first full 9 months of my administration is about 5.6 million new jobs, a record for any new president. That's a monthly average of over 60,000 new jobs each month, 10 times more than the job creation at 3 months before I took office. New unemployment claims have fallen every week for the past 5 weeks, are down by more than 60% since I took office, and are now at the lowest level since the pandemic started. And people continue to move from unemployment rolls to work. Unemployment has decreased this year by more than any other year since 1950. So any year since 1950, unemployment has decreased more in this year than since 1950. And not only are more Americans working Americans are seeing their paychecks go up. Weekly pay went up in October, with an average hourly earnings up almost 5% this year. That's more than some of the lowest paid workers in our country, men and women who work in restaurants, hotels, the entertainment industry, have seen their pay go up 12% this year. Over 5.5 million jobs. Unemployment down a record pace to 4.6%. And before we passed the rescue plan, forecasters said it would take until the end of 2023, to get to 4.6 unemployment rate. Today, we've reached that rate 2 years before forecasters thought it was possible. I would humbly suggest this is a significant improvement from when I took office, and a sign that we're on the right track. This did not happen by accident or just because. We laid the foundation for this recovery with my American Rescue Plan that Congress passed at the beginning of my term. It put money in working families' pockets. It gave families with kids a tax cut each month. It helped keep small businesses going in the dark days earlier this year. And it provided the resources needed to launch one of the fastest mass vaccination programs ever. We got more than 220 million shots in arms in my first 100 days. We didn't stop there. In recent months, we've started implementing vaccination requirements, which have helped bring the number of unvaccinated adults down in this country from around 100 million several months ago to 60 million now. You know, that's good for our health, but it's also good for our economy. Now, vaccinated workers are...
So the expanded child tax credit, which was established back in March, is going to be continued for just 1 more year. That's according to the latest spending proposal by Democrats. But a key part of the credit, the full refundability, will be made permanent per the Democrats' plan. According to new research, keeping refundability will slash poverty by 19%, specifically for kids. The existing child tax credit was expanded in March by the American Rescue Plan as one of many responses to the crisis and ensuing recession. The enhanced credit include advanced monthly payments from July to December of 2021, increase the benefit to $3,000 from $2,000 with a $600 bonus for kids under age 6. It was also made fully refundable, meaning that families have not had to show any earned income to receive the money. And previously, the credit was partially refundable up to $1,400, which meant that people who made less than $2,500 annually didn't get the benefit, even if they had children who would have been otherwise eligible. If the Democrats' budget resolution passes as is, the credit will be extended in this form through the 2022 tax year. In 2023, the credit would revert to its previous age requirements and amounts. $2,000 for those under age of 17, but would be available to families with the lowest incomes. So it was also made fully refundable, meaning that families have not had to show any earned income. Previously, the credit was partially refundable up to $1,400, which meant that people who made less than $2,500 annually didn't get the benefit, even if they had children who would have been otherwise eligible. If the Democrats' budget resolution passes as is, the credit will be extended in this form through the 2022 tax year. In 2023, the credit will revert to its previous age requirements and amounts, $2,000 for those under the age of 17, but would be available to families with the lowest incomes. So while the enhanced child tax credit seems to be safe in the Democrats' budget resolution framework, it's possible things could still change. Now, because Democrats are looking to pass the legislation through a sped-up process called reconciliation, all 50 Democrats in the Senate must agree. Still, advocates will continue to push for full refundability of the credit to be made permanent. Now, Biden has been calling previous House Democrats to push them to vote for the safety net legislation when it comes to the floor. The president is not pressing for a specific timeline, instead deferring to Pelosi on that aspect. He's asking Democratic lawmakers to support the bill when it's called up for a vote, according to multiple sources. And earlier this week, the 5 centrist Democrats wrote a letter to Nancy Pelosi, and they wanted an official cost estimate of the legislation before any floor consideration of the Build Back Better proposal. So when the analysis was released, the Treasury Department now estimates that the House's safety net bill will generate $2 trillion in savings. So Schumer had hoped to begin debate on the bill on November 15th, and one agreement that came together earlier in the week was on lowering prices of prescriptions, and even Senator Chris Sinema endorsed the agreement. Everybody, over 400,000 Americans will be receiving a new check from the IRS this week. It has been confirmed that a group of people will be getting new stimulus checks next year. I'll be sharing with you who is eligible to receive the next round of payments, so you want to be sure to stand to the end of this video.
I want to bring in Katie Pavlich, who is also watching this with us. And just to mention to our viewers, we are now getting word that they are going to begin to take a vote. And tell me, producers, what you just gave me in terms of who is putting that out there and what order it's going to go in. Yeah. All right, so it's Steny Hoyer making that announcement. It's going to be first on infrastructure, then on Build Back Better. So it looks like they have something that they're ready to vote on, Katie.
So if they're doing the infrastructure bill first, it seems like the progressives have actually blinked here because they wanted to vote for the spending bill first before they approved the infrastructure bill for the sake of the Senate. So it'll be interesting to see what the agreement was that was made between Nancy Pelosi, who's been in and out of meetings all day, with the far left of her caucus. You know, there's this generally and broadly speaking, Martha, the politics here, of course, are at play, especially